Hi everyone, it's Alice and welcome to this reading vlog where I will be reading some cozy books because I feel like reading some cozy books. It's also been a while since I made a reading vlog, so I thought it could be fun to just do one. I have 3 books that I'm planning to read for this vlog. We'll see if I make it through all of them, but all of them are cozy and I am just, I don't know, I'm in a mood to read like lighter things. This winter is like kicking my ass. I'm so over it. I just want it to be spring. But I am trying to like get some cozy vibes in and trying to make this winter still be okay. And my favorite thing about winter is cozying up inside. So I'm hoping that these books will like cheer me up a little bit. I'm just gonna quickly show you the books that I'm planning on reading. I guess I'll show you this one first because I did start it last night. This is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by Kingfisher, which is both a funny title and a funny cover. I've read a couple of books by Kingfisher now, and I really like the humor in this author's books, so I thought I would give this a go also because it just looks kind of cute and fun and cozy. It is, I think, like YA and not adult, and my favorite books by this author are her adult books. But still, I thought I would give this a go. It's about this 14-year-old girl who lives in like a magical city, and she is a witch, but her powers are all to do with like baking and making dough rise, and she feels like it's completely wasted. But I mean, I've only read 2 chapters of this so far, but already there's been a murder and she's been taken away because she's been accused of the murderer. I don't really have a lot of opinions on it so far because I am only 22 pages in, but this is the first one that I'm gonna read. Then I want to make my way through A Psalm for the Wilde built by Becky because I've just heard it's a really good cozy fantasy or cozy science fiction book. All I really know about this is that it's set in a world where robots became so advanced that they left humanity behind and they've like gone into the forest or something, and then we see a robot and a human come together for the first time in a really long time. That's all I really know. And then, of course, I want to read this. This is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by Heather Fawcett. This is the sequel to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which was one of my favorite books that I read last year. Super cozy. It's all about like fae and fairies and these scholars, and it's a lot of fun. I wonder what the main characters get up to in this one. I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. I'm hoping these books will give me all the cozy vibes that I'm looking for and make me feel warm and fuzzy and just, I hope they're gonna be a lot of fun. I just feel like I need some fun books right now. This was really sweet and exactly what I wanted. Very cozy, felt kind of low stakes even though there's like a lot happening in it and there's kind of like a battle in it, but it just felt fun and light and it made me chuckle. Like there's something about the way this author writes that I just find really funny. It is YA, so we're following a 14-year-old girl, and because of that, it feels a little young. But I really liked the world, I liked the magic, I liked how everything went in it. There were some twists and turns that I didn't see coming. There were a couple that I did see coming when we sort of were nearing the end. I was like, yeah, I feel like this is what's gonna happen, and that's what happened, but I still really, really enjoyed it. I also, this is a thing that I really love in this author's books, the ones that I've read so far. There's always like really funny side characters, and because there's magic in it, they are extra funny because of that. In the other book that I've read by this author, Nettle and Bone, it was a demon-possessed chicken. In this one, it's a little gingerbread man who's like weirdly military, and he's like walking around. He's kind of like the main character's protector in a way, and I just love it. Like, it's just so funny. There's also a sourdough starter named Bob, level that we're at. Like, it's just really fun. I also quite liked the political stuff, like the political system of the city that we see, and like that's the main focus of it. There are no romance elements in this book, so if you don't like cozy fantasy with romance in them, this is kind of perfect. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It put me in a really, really good mood, which is exactly what I wanted. Like I mentioned though, it was quite a quick read, so I've actually already started A Song for the Wilde, built by Becky Chambers. Did I tell you what this book is about? It's basically set in a fantasy world where we are following this monk who is sort of like lost in life. He feels like he needs to do something else, and he's a monk of this like religion that is kind of like explored in here, and he decides to become a traveling tea monk. It's set in a world where robots used to, or they do exist, they were made by humans, and at some point they gained consciousness and they decided that they didn't want to be with the humans, so they went into the forest and no one has seen them since. And that's like the world, and we're following this tea monk, and he goes on an adventure basically, and he runs into a robot. The robot kind of has a mission to check up on people and humans, and the point where we're at now, they've met, and I think they're gonna become friends, I guess. I don't know, they're having all of these interesting talks and discussions, and it's kind of like weird, but it is very cozy. It's a very different kind of cozy than this though. This feels more like existential in a way, and I feel like it explores sort of the meaning of life in some sort of way. I am really enjoying it though, and it feels very cozy, and it also feels quite easy to read because we only really have 2 characters that we're following, and that's it, and you don't really need to pay attention to that much else. It's just about these 2 characters, and there's something really calming about it, and it does feel like a very calm, quiet book in a lot of ways, and yeah, I really like it. It's again also very sweet, but it maybe feels a little bit deeper than this in a way, but I don't think this is supposed to be like super deep, and this is sort of trying to go a little bit deep into things. I should be able to finish this quite quickly because I don't have that much left, but I'm also kind of like, I know when I sit down to read the rest of this, that's gonna be it. Like, I'm gonna finish it, and I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to savor it, which I guess is a very good sign. I feel like March is such a weird month. Like, it's one of those in-between months where you don't quite know what the season is, winter is kind of ending, I'm hoping, but then suddenly it snows, then there's a sunny day, it's kind of like warm, you don't really need a heavy jacket, and then the next day it pours, and it's just, I don't know, it's a really weird month, and it's, I don't know. I'm just really ready for spring, and I'm really over all of this shifty weather. Anyways, let's move away from that random weather update to a book update. I finished this book. I only had like 50 pages left when I updated you last, and I really enjoyed it. It was very like existential in a way, like I mentioned, and it got more like that towards the end, and I really enjoyed it. I do think my experience of this is probably a little bit colored by the fact that this is a very popular book and I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I really, really enjoyed it, but it didn't like blow me away in the way that maybe I thought it would. I think I like slightly weirder books when they're this quiet, and it is weird in a way, and it is quite cozy, but I don't know. I really, really liked it, but it's not a new favorite book. It might just be because I like a little bit of like darkness in my cozy books in a way, and this feels not like that. It feels not light in the sense of weight, but in the way that it feels very like bright. And yes, it is existential, but I don't know. I liked it. It made me ponder. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the robot. And I know that there is a sequel to this, and I definitely want to read that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a new favorite book of the year or anything, but I'm really glad I read it. And I would recommend it because it is very sweet and calm, and there are some lovely discussions in it. I don't really have that much more to say about it, but I do wonder if this is also one of those books where if you give me a minute and I like get to think about it a little bit, I will maybe feel more for it. I don't really know. Glad I read it though. Definitely enjoyed it. I'm also really glad to be reading this book. I started this immediately after finishing the other one, and I was so psyched about it because I just wanted to be in this world. This is the kind of cozy fantasy that I want to read right now. And it's amazing so far. And I love it. And it's giving me exactly the same feeling that the first book did. We're following the two same main characters, but we have different side characters in this one, which I'm quite enjoying. And they're going on another adventure. It's basically just a field, like, scholar trip or research trip, I guess you would call it. And if you don't know, the first book follows a scholar who, like, studies fae and fairies. And she's sort of like, she has a friend slash rival slash, like, I don't know. They kind of work together in a way as well, and they have this relationship, and it's amazing. And in the first book, they, like, the main character was working on an encyclopedia, and in this one, she's working on a map. So they've gone to the mountains of, like, I don't actually know the country, but it's in the Alps, and they're up there looking for something. And so far, it's just, the vibe of it is immaculate. It's just so much fun and really creative, and it has this mix of, like, adventure and magic that I just really, really like. And I also like that there is some darkness to it, and there's, like, the fairies and stuff are not all great. Like, there is some danger in that world, which I just really, really enjoy. And I like getting to see more of this world and meeting more creatures. And I don't want to give anything away, but a lot of stuff is, like, happening with the characters, and I'm just super into it. So technically, I haven't finished this book, but I am gonna finish this vlog just because I would like to edit it and get it up. But, I mean, I have, like, maybe 80 pages left. I'm not gonna be able to tell you what's in those 80 pages anyway, and I already know that I love this book. I just love this series so much. Like, there's something about it that just hits perfectly for me, and I just love it. Like in the first book, I really enjoyed reading about the characters. I love the main character, and I love the dynamic between the two main characters. And I love this world that we get to see. We have a different setting in this one than in the first one, because in the first one they're in sort of an Iceland type of place, and here they're in the mountains for the most part. But it still feels the same. It feels very magical. We have this little village that they're in. There's townspeople, and it just has the same feeling, but it has a different, like, there's different stuff happening in it, so it still feels different. And we get to learn even more about the magical world and all of the fae and the fairies, and I love it. And we get to explore, without giving too much away, more about the characters, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't want this to end though, because then I have to wait for the next book, which I'm just assuming there's gonna be another book. I sure as hell hope so. But yeah, I just really like it. It says on the back that this is a charming academic fairy tale, and I feel like that's a great way to put it. And it's just perfect for me because I love all of the elements in it, and I feel like I'm just talking and talking and talking and not really telling you what the book is about, but because it's the second book of the series, I also don't want to tell you too much. But just know that It's so good, and if you like sort of whimsical fairy tale-esque stories that are like a little bit dark, and you like fairies and fae and all of that, you're gonna like this book. If you like cozy fantasy, there's no way you're not gonna like the series, I feel. That's gonna be kind of the end of this vlog though, I feel. I feel like this vlog was just a lot all over the place, and I don't really know if I've said anything of substance, but I did read some good books. I really enjoy them. I really like these types of cozy books that are not just like a cozy mystery, but it's a different kind of cozy. Like, I really, really enjoy it. And I really needed it these past few weeks because I just am so done with winter. I'm really looking forward to spring. Today it's like semi-sunny, so I'm gonna go for a walk later. And it's not too cold, which I'm happy about. I'm just ready for spring to come in full bloom and just, I don't know. I'm really ready for it. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it was maybe a little bit all over the place. And I'd love to know if you've read any of the books that I read in this video and what you thought, or if you want to tell me about some other cozy books you're reading, or just any other book that you're reading. I'd love to hear about it. As always, thank you very much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you soon. Bye!